Hi, I'm going to get Shenji the Archmage soon, so I decided to practice playing Shenji to understand his main mechanics. 1. Throw Fire Hunter only when you are sure it will do something important and crucial. Never panic and throw it however you feel you can. You need to think about it for some time, short time, but without thinking, you will kill yourself and your teammates. Hasty throwing shows you are a noob, inexperienced and without a brain. If you see an enemy in one spot, maybe it's not the best idea to throw Fire Hunter at them. Maybe you should throw it next to them to force them to go somewhere else or nearby you. You killed an enemy, it's good idea to throw it, but maybe not instantly. Check if other enemies are on low health, and by throwing Fire Hunter you will block access to them and they will heal. It is usually best for putting pressure on opponents, rarely to kill them. Just like throwing it on bomb while playing attackers in sabotage mode. Always be careful, because every player can bump into Fire Hunter and detonate it, even your teammates. Remember that when grenade or any explosives explodes nearby or it touches ignition zone of another Fire Hunter, it detonates. His shooting is very specific and even more random. But I found out that most of the shots are taken on the left side of the red cone. Compared to these videos, where I don't aim and I turn so the enemy is on the left side. As you can see on the slow motion video, your shots take damage in the moment that ignition lines appear. Maybe it's not that helpful, but it's better to know it. 3. While shooting, don't come too close to your enemies, because it will be harder for you to hit them. Also, don't stand too far, because you will miss more shots. Keep an eye on your magazine and reload it after every action. His passive decreases him a lot of reload time on getting damage. 4. Talking about passives, they mainly affect his main weapon. Increased damage of ignition lines and time of their existence. They don't do much, so knowing how to use them is very important. Since Shenji leaves ignition lines on the floor, he can deal damage to his teammates. On the one hand, it's bad, because Shenji is known as Saboteur and the one who kills his friends. But PYRO members can use this as an advantage, because they often have great and useful passives that can be activated by getting any damage. Also, ignition lines deal damage to drones when hero is dead or he placed it. That means Shenji doesn't have to matter about them much after killing an enemy. 5. Lastly, armor. Rarely pick it up. Shenji is a PYRO member and he doesn't need much of it. Also, when he shoots, he leaves ignition lines that suck health and armor very rapidly. Leave it to your teammates, like Renegades or Skytech Megacorp members. I don't say, never pick it up, but do not steal it. At the end, remember that Shenji has low armor penetration and low damage to armor, which makes him very vulnerable against enemies with high armor. If enemy doesn't have armor, you can rush him. Less than 20 armor penetration means that 80% of the damage goes to armor. He also have about 50% damage to armor, which gives about 40% basic damage to armor and 20% to health, which is very low.